This episode of Speakers of Eidolon is made possible by our generous patrons. Special thanks to our supreme and master speakers Omechi Cat Comet, Erisu Yamakawa, Circa Barrackhill, Remy Asalia, Arcadia Lunashine, Alex Franco AV, Casey Schaefer, Asuta Starbreeze, Cletus Oreo, Nina Grimstarter, Nat Clay, Lily Black, AJ Brainswordson, Bob Cece, Mikta Rabentau, Faris Jantoru, Sapa Chakwatol, Edwin, Umbral Wind, Quick Levin, Winebow Brood, Pamela Isley, Camille Grino, Face On Masher, Elenriel Maximus, Codred No, Mira Miri, Bay Barbale, Suno Chicano, Celesto Noatrell, Lazy Boy, Abaga Dragonite, Luke Osborne, Pandaloo Storm Arrow, Tex, Yowie Wowie, Kylin, and Chibi Duo. Support the show and become a patron today at patreon.com/SpeakersXIV. Thank you.
This is Speakers of Eidolon.
Good evening, Eorzeans. Welcome to Speakers of Eidolon, episode 257. I'm Lakeel Bravestone, and I'm joined today by Georgi Wiston, Rollo Des, and Mela Vanadar.
Hello.
We're back again. We're back again. It's Saturday, everyone. All right. Episode 257.
Were you going to say it's Saturday, babies? And then you cut yourself off?
I was going to say Saturday, baby. It's episode 257, July 31st, 2021. It's the last day of July. That's right. Oh my God.
We're halfway through 2021.
We're over halfway.
We're
We're about to
yeah.
enter
This-
the 8th month.
This year's almost over.
Ah,
The financial year is over. I hope you submitted your taxes, everyone.
Yeah, a lot of people just went. All right. Main topics today: Make It Rain 2021. We'll give our review. We're supposed to give that last week.
Yesterweek.
Last week. We forgot, so we'll do it today. And we'll be reading a couple of articles about 14's. Yeah, I know. This is the third episode that we talk about 14's popularity. But what can you do when you're a community podcast and the community and the game you are covering and the game
You can do this.
in which the community is tied to is experiencing explosive growth. We have to cover
There
that.
you go.
So we will. We'll also be reading MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Stay tuned for the post-show. We'll be answering questions from the Syndicate. And we'll be watching our minimum eye level run of Doma Castle. First person,
Wow.
3-man. That's it. That's the show. Hope you are ready to enjoy that. Let's jump into recent events. Yes, and Make It Rain. A new event, much better. What's happening down there?
The headphones fucked up. I fixed it, and then it got worse. And then I tried to fix it, and then I just washed my hair, and it's a mess.
Okay, it's fine. Okay. Remember, Rollo, most people aren't even watching this stream right now.
Come on, Ted back. Look at.
Well,
look
now
at
they
us.
are. Everyone
Look-
who's like
look-
watching this on demand or just having it on the background is like, I need to go check now. Look at Rollo's hair.
Mm.
All right.
And I go away. I'm camera shy.
Okay, so Make It Rain 2021. It has happened. It's still going on. How much is left? A week?
What's the 8th or 11th?
Less than a
ends?
week. I think it finishes on Monday, doesn't it?
Oh, okay. So by the time this is up on YouTube.
Oh, it's the 11th? It goes on another week? I thought it
Yeah.
was only... Oh, no, okay. I was thinking
11th.
about...
11th, in which it will be replaced by the Rising. Okay, so no,
Does it get
no, sorry, other way
Rising?
around. No. Sorry, I was thinking about the summer event. Does it get replaced?
Yeah, Moonfire Fair followed, and then it's the Rising. But there's probably a gap between
There's going to
them.
be a gap. Sorry, I was thinking.
Yeah.
Moonfire
Yeah, I
Fair
thought there
into
was
the
a gap
Rising.
first.
I thought we were further into the year than we are, even though we are very far into the year. Stressful. Okay, so Make It Rain. The event itself, I mean, there's not much to say about it other than more MGP and a lot of people in the Gold Saucer.
Yeah.
Getting
Queues for
And all that.
Gold Saucer gates.
yes.
Yeah.
But then the quest, which I hope you've done the quest because we're going to talk about it now. I mean,
Big spoilers.
there's spoilers for this quest, so make sure you've done it. Otherwise, you know what? Should we? You know what? Let's make it safe. I'm gonna turn on the spoiler alarm so that you can have our visual on and then come back if you haven't done the quest.
Yeah.
All right.
God.
Did it bonk?
Yeah, it bonked.
Yeah, it bonked us.
Right.
For anyone watching, Lakil chose to do this because he needed to change his headphones batteries.
Okay. Right. So the quest. I think Georgi wanted a quest like this, like the first one we got.
Yes.
Which was a detective
I've
quest.
been waiting for this since the first one. I was like, it's set that.
Forgot to do that.
It set such a high precedent for future Make It Rain events, and almost every year since then, I feel like I've been disappointed. Not this year.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So let's go through it. So the story goes, something's been stolen from the Gold Saucer.
Yes.
It is
It's an Emperor Sabotender horn.
yes,
The mount.
the big mount. And they the brass blades, they've sort of detained a suspect, the person who was in charge of that the place, that counter where
They're
it
on the
goes.
mini catpot
yeah
tables.
yeah. However, they claim to be innocent, and Roland, I think, is like, no, is it Roland? No, Roland's not.
Yeah.
Yeah, Roland is the the guy with the drip.
Yeah.
He's the guy with the big, like, JoJo hair. I don't know how to describe it.
Yeah. He's not entirely convinced that it's the case, and you are asked to do some detective work by, I don't remember the quest NPC's name, but
Just a
Funny
worker.
Elzen man.
Yeah.
Olier.
Yes, that's his name. Yeah. So you are now tasked with going around asking people, or like asking around, and then trying to piece this mystery together and figure out who the real culprit is. This has a lot of endings, apparently. Not a lot, but more than one.
3 or 4.
Yeah.
4?
Well, I've heard this elusive
Yeah.
4, but I don't know. I have not seen any information about it.
Maybe just 3.
I wouldn't even know how you get these other endings. It seems so.
Well,
Unless you just.
so
I don't know.
the quest is, I got the full. I got what I guess is called the good ending, where you get like by pure chance, because I walked around and I asked people around, and one of the first people I talked to was the guy at the entrance hall, which it's like the blabbering something. And he said some shit, and it wasn't really relevant, and I'm like, okay, moving on. And then I had talked to everyone, I think, and I went back to the entrance hall just to look for something else, and then I kind of forgot that I'd spoken to that guard, so I spoke to him again, and now he said something else, and I'm like, oh shit, this is conditional. Like, it is.
Yeah.
If you do this in a certain order, they'll give you more information. So I got like obsessed with that. So I just kept talking. Like, I spent a lot of time just talking to random people in different order just to like get all of the information, and that opens up all of those extra answers during the final scene, which if you do all of them, you learn that there's this whole story. So if you don't do this correctly, you lose out on a huge amount of like story that is being told at the end, because if you don't do it perfectly, it kind of cuts off early, and that's it. But you can always do it again, of course. So you can. This is a repeatable quest.
But there's like nuance to it.
Yeah.
Like you can think it's one thing, but if you get everything, you'll realize that it's actually something else.
Yeah. So essentially, what happened was that someone stole someone's uniform, posed as a gold saucer employee, while behind the counter, stole the horn and got away. Essentially, that's the crime. But the person who did it is the twin brother of a brass blade. This is complicated. It's the twin brother of a brass blades officer, and not only that, but they had like swapped places, so that the brother who was not a brass blades officer put on the brass blades uniform, and the actual brass blades officer put on the gold saucer uniform and committed the crime. Because they have a third brother who who is
that wasn't made clear to me.
Who's very ill, and all they wanted was to ride that mount. And so they stole it for him.
But they didn't initially want to live a life of crime. The twin, who's not a brass blade, was going to the gold saucer very regularly and earning a lot of MGP.
Yeah.
And that's how we found out there was a twin. But they didn't manage to make enough money in a short enough time, and he was so close to dying or whatever that they decided to steal it.
Yeah,
he's still dying, by the way.
He's
that's
still dying,
not changed.
But
they don't cure him.
There's a bit of a good ending because he's broken the law. So the accused, like the one that they detained, is like, no, don't go so hard on them, because he knows. He has a similar backstory, it turns out. He was he Alamegan?
He was a criminal in... He had a sick mother.
Right.
In Uldar, and he just one time... I think he lost his job in Uldar or something.
Oh,
so
that's what it was, yeah.
Stole a bit of bread or something for his mother and got caught. And then Roland offered him a job.
He stole a ring.
Oh, sorry, ring. From Roland.
Yes.
No, from Godbert.
From Godbert?
Yeah, God, it's very
he stole Godbert's ring, and then Godbert gave him a job.
Yeah.
At the Gold Saucer, which that's very him. And then, Godbert comes in and he's like, "Hello, I am wearing a suit
just in his
pants, like my underwear, as I do." And he's like, "I'm Godbert. You can get the horn for free. If you've worked for me." So it's like, and obviously he's on the syndicate, so the brass blades serve the syndicate, so he's like, I will give them community service. They will serve at the gold saucer. So the one twin is like at the frontistery, I think, to like help children.
He dresses up
in a
as
similar situation as their brother.
Sabatender or something.
Yeah, dressing up as a Sabatender, and the other one
escorts children to the gold saucer to show them games.
Yeah.
It's like a soap opera level of just complexity and twin brother absurdness.
Yeah.
It's fun though. I loved it.
It was fun. Yeah. And
so I never redid it. I only ever got the medium ending, the one where you get the guy free. He doesn't get accused of the crime because there's not enough evidence. But I wasn't able to have enough proof for the real culprit.
Oh, okay. So
who did you accuse?
It doesn't let you accuse anyone if you get the medium ending.
Oh, I see. Okay. So they just walk free then, or do they still arrest the other guy?
No, they don't arrest anyone because there's no because you don't have enough evidence to point out who the real culprit is.
Okay, I see.
And you see the little evil Detective Conan Shadow Man in the background too. If you get the evil ending, he's like, hey, yeah, I've gotten away with it too. And it's just like, you know, that black character, like just silhouette.
It's just like a mannequin with eyes.
Yeah. Like the Hildebrand one.
Which doesn't make any sense because it's a full-size person.
Yeah.
Like, it's not a Lalafell, but whatever. I guess I'd give it away.
It also makes less sense because, like, it implies, like, a certain degree of sinisterness, which is missing from the ultimate story.
Yeah.
That's what they conclude, I guess, that it was sinister. But
I
don't know.
Probably the only thing that kind of annoyed me about the event is that I don't think you can get the good ending unless you have every piece of evidence, right?
Right. No.
Because if I got to the point where it's like, okay, it's the twin. Everyone's talking about the twin.
Yeah.
They're talking about how they didn't respond to his nickname. So he has a twin, right?
Yeah.
And so I was like, okay, I think I've spoken to everybody. I did this on launch day. So and people were swarming everywhere. So it was hard to see the NPCs. So I thought I'd spoken to all of them. And then you go to the thing and then you just fucking flounder about.
Yeah.
And you can't really answer correctly. It's super annoying. The only one I missed was the fucking guard on the right beneath the Rogadin guard. And all he tells you, we haven't found it yet.
Right.
Yeah. That is funny.
Like, I get it. I need to get everything.
But for that, you need to say, but have you found, if you've got the culprit, where's the horn or whatever?
Yeah. That's what that unlocks.
But crimes go unpunished in Eorzea, so just commit crimes.
Well, they were sentenced to community service.
Yeah. Very kind punishment, I guess.
Yeah, that's true. I mean, it wasn't that big. I mean,
it was. It's just the most expensive mount, pretty much, you can get.
Yeah, but they never got it out of the gold saucer.
Excuse me, I think there are 100 million gil mounts in this game.
True.
Well, that is true.
That's true.
That's true. I wonder how much that'd be in MGP though.
Also, MGP isn't like currency in that sense. It's not.
No, it's like
to a certain extent. You could argue that the Cactuar mount is invaluable, as in it has no value.
True.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's just like another version of Rowena.
Yeah, it is. Yes.
It's work, boys.
Overall, I think this is a much better quest than the quests we've had like the past 2-3 years. I don't remember how long we've had Make It Rain.
Well, you normally just do nothing.
Yeah, there was like a little Sabertender one, which was...
That was cute.
Cute.
Yeah, it was the guy that wanted to become a Sabertender.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. It was fun. And I like that they at least... I mean, you can fuck it up, right? But you can keep doing this quest infinitely. So you can try to get it perfect.
And if you want a non-spoilery hint, if you somehow desire that and have gotten to this part of the podcast...
well, let me remove the spoiler tag.
Oh, okay.
We're done talking about spoilers now. All right.
Okay. Welcome back from the spoilers. There's no spoilers here, but I will say if you want a hint as to when you've done it in the event, there's a pop-up text saying you've gotten all the clues.
Yeah.
That's true.
So,
yes. And that is helpful.
That's just expect that.
Yeah. Okay.
I think the only other disappointing thing about the Make It Rain event is there's no NPCs in the gold saucer that I've found.
Oh yeah,
like just walking around.
Yeah.
It's weird. It's weird that they just didn't recycle the ones that they already had as well. Like,
I
feel like they do that most years. They're usually the same dialogue.
No, they are actually. They very rarely are the same.
Yeah, that's true because sometimes have they added like expansion characters like when
they add expansion.
Yeah, they often add expansion characters. Yeah,
I feel like the same people often say the same things, but I guess not.
I haven't really paid that much attention to them, but now that they're gone, they're very.
I miss them.
Their absence is noticeable now.
I want to see Chloe and Zoe playing the slots.
Yeah.
What slot machines?
We don't.
The bomb toss.
Strange that we don't have that, but maybe that's too close to like.
It's
gambling.
Gambling.
Yeah.
It's just gambling, so they can't.
That's true.
Yeah.
Okay. Let's move on to some other weird. This is weird. The Sage job icon has been changed. I will just. This is so funny. I thought the Sage icon was interesting for other reasons because it kind of looked, suggestive if you have a mind like mine. But the apparently a lot of people didn't like it for another reason. I will read the note from Yoshida posted on the Lodestone. Hello everyone, this is producer and director Naoki Yoshida. I'd like to begin by thanking you for your cooperation during the congestion and outages we've been experiencing these recent weeks on North American and European worlds. While the last weekend saw some worlds maxed out with their long login numbers, we're now able to keep things running at the upper limits. In order to maintain an enjoyable play experience, we'll continue working to improve the server environment, keeping a close eye on logins while optimizing our systems. Regarding the Sage job icon, now then, I'd like to share some news regarding the icon for the new Sage job, which was recently revealed on the Endwalker special site. When we released new details for Sage and Reaper on the special site, we also included their icons, not thinking that they were particularly big reveals. However, we soon received feedback from players all over the world who told us that the Sage icon made them uncomfortable or fearful. This aversion is known as trypophobia, and those who have it feel disgust and fear when they see clusters of small holes or bumps. The severity of the reaction varies between people, and what triggers it in some may not do so in others. But regardless of such differences, you have given us your earnest feedback, and there is still time to change things. Considering also the fact that job icons are prominently visible in the game and that they also appear on merchandise, we've made the decision to redesign the Sage icon. The design concept is unchanged, with the icon being based on the 4 neoliths which form the Sage's armament. The holes in the original design were added for detail, but they ended up appearing as a cluster. To address the problem, new icons reduces the holes while accentuating the design concept. Now, comparisons will inevitably be made, and some of you may prefer the original. But we believe that designs like this are things that grow on you that grow on you as you play the job, and ask for your understanding as we head into Endwalker. That's all for me. As always, thanks for your continued support, and please keep enjoying the game. Naoki Yoshida, Final Fantasy XIV producer and director.
Yeah. I don't like either of the new job icons that much anyway. I don't,
Just say you want to change it.
Yeah.
This is such a weird...
It kind of looks a bit more dynamic. The other one was more rigid.
Apparently there was like 100-page discussion on the Japanese forums about this. So it wasn't you can't say it was like a small number of people that were discussing this.
Oh, I mean, I don't like looking at holes as well.
Yeah, same.
And, like,
well,
why don't I believe you?
Well,
like, I think everyone experiences that kind of like dread or something when they see like those little lotus pod flowers.
Right.
I don't think everyone does.
Really?
No, that's trypophobia, Rollo. All right, moving on. So there you go. Sage icon updated. We got a brand new, better looking icon. The things
update Reaper.
What do you
make it look good? This is the worst one. It's not
the worst one. I thought the Reaper one was cool when it was first revealed.
What's the circle supposed to be?
Yeah, the circle is a bit weird.
It doesn't make sense.
Is it like supposed to represent like your soul?
I think it's supposed to be the avatar thing that you summon, right?
Yeah.
A Reaper icon sucks.
I thought it was funny that the scythe points down. Like they're actually like in the field. Like they're using they're farmers.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Maybe the circle's just a big sheaf of wheat.
That's what it is. Yeah. Okay, moving on. Encyclopaedia Eorzea is back on the European and North American stores.
What about the Australian store?
Let's hear from
okay?
the Australian. Let's see here. Let's see. There's the list of. No, there is nothing for sale on the Australian store. Sorry, everyone. That is absolutely nothing. Actually, that is. There is
That's an empty website
there is
with all
no
the UI.
header. There is nothing. I don't know. There's no button to click. It's just an Australian flag and a tiny, tiny GIF in the top left. That's it. All right. Well, we'll check back on the Australian store next week.
Oh my God! You really have nothing. You can get Final Fantasy 14 and Trials of Mana.
Wow, what a collection, dude.
I can get digital versions of games, Rollo. Not even physical.
I love that. All right, anyways, for the European and North American stores, so, well, we only have the European price, but it's 43 euros, so I'm assuming 36-ish, 7-ish dollars US. On the North American store, I don't know what the dollar EU...
$39.99, I think it is.
Oh, it's 39? Okay, yeah.
I think something like that.
Also, it is also available on Amazon, so
yes,
Australians, you can obtain it that way.
Yes, you can. That's
Get
also
it from there.
That apparently
Don't
also
pay
goes
for
for
shipping.
Canadians as well. So get it from Amazon if you can. And for Nordics, good news: free shipping. Free shipping. It's untracked, but you know it's
excellent,
mysterious.
Yeah, but it is free, and that's a gift up here. I'll take it.
Not the case in the States. It's a very expensive shipping.
Incredibly cheap track
by
shipping
American
here.
standards, at least. It's like $15.
Yeah. Well,
got on Amazon. It's cheaper. Sorry.
Yeah, get it on Amazon. All right. Speaking of lore, Ishikawa posted a tweet revealing something about how MSQ is going to be told, or no, sorry, sort of revealing the future past 6.0, I guess.
This is from February of this year?
This is from February, apparently, yes. In the new series, this is a quote, in the new series from 6.1, I want my juniors to do what they like to their heart's content. So it's my job to finish telling the story of Stars and Life to the end and send everyone to a new story. I would appreciate it if you could join us. So,
I hope she still supervises.
Yeah, she's handing it over to her juniors. That's nice. But yeah, she'll probably be supervising.
A similar thing happened with My Hero to Ishikawa from A Realm Reborn to now.
Yeah.
True.
And Soken slowly took over the music.
Yeah, well,
in a way,
Soken took over from A Realm Reborn. It was immediate. But he did that in 1.0. Like in 1.0, he slowly took more control. Yeah, he made some tracks for 1.0, I think, for new content. So yeah.
He definitely made some tracks for 1.0.
Yeah, because
I remember the soundtrack listing.
Uematsu never made anything past the original ones that he.
No, but
no, Uematsu made nothing with the context of the game.
No, true.
Poor Uematsu, they did him dirty in 1.0. Okay. Well, there you go. That's what we can expect. 6.1 complete. That's exciting because not only are we like ending, you know, the how many years has it been?
Decade.
Yeah, it has been. It's been more than that. It's been 11 years since the story started. And it ends, and now we get like a new story by a new writing team, like there will be a new lead writer, right?
A new lead, but probably not necessarily a new writing team.
Well, we don't know, but I mean,
what, you think they're going to like completely rotate through?
If they were ever going to do it, wouldn't this be the time, the perfect time?
I mean, it would be, but I think that's that would be such an unusual decision for any company to make.
That's true. I just don't know how much work the juniors are doing right now in 14. Like, do they do do they do all the side quests?
I mean, I would have to assume that they do side quests and possibly entire arcs. Because remember, Ishikawa did the whole Azim Step arc in Stormblood. Like, My Hero wasn't the sole writer even beforehand, and I doubt Ishikawa is the sole writer now.
No,
that's true. Yeah. Well, exciting either way. It was still waiting to know. Like, I want to know how the story is going to be told. If there's going to be a new long arc, or if it's going to be a 1-year arc, or per patch arc. Per patch arc. That's what 11 is, right?
Imagine that.
Yeah.
Oh, per patch arc.
Yeah. It is possible. Imagine just having you would get more than 5 quests per patch, obviously, but you would have 20 quests, and that's its own contained story. You can still link the stories per patch. You can still have them lead into each other, but there's many ways to solve this.
I want to help a lady with her laundry for a patch.
Yeah, what if an entire patch is just dedicated to one person, a one-person story, and then you follow that? That's the end after the patch. I don't know. And then you can have a B plot brewing in the background, and then that pays off at the final patch of the expansion. That's one way of solving it, other than having this big overarching thing going, which is what we're used to. Per patch arc is that's kind of what 2.x was, right? 2.x is kind of like that until you reach 2.3, 4? 3? 3?
2.3 is Heroes of Eorzea. That's when the Crystal Braves start to come into it.
Yeah.
You're kind of just dicking around until before that.
Yeah. Okay. Well, there you go. That's a little look into the future. Not so distant future anymore. We are getting very close. No. We're entering August now, which means we're only
It is August already here.
That's true. Which means it's 3 months until Endwalker hits. Yeah. Well, 3 months and 14 days. Or whatever.
Closer to the end of it.
23 days. Yeah, closer to 4 actually, because it's the end of November. Oh, whatever. Yeah. It's close. Right. Let's jump into the main story. We keep growing, and more and more news outlets are picking this up. Polygon being one of them. And they have a very intriguing article that I think we can discuss. It's headline, Final Fantasy XIV nails the most important part of starting a new MMO. And this might be the recipe that has helped 14. Let's see. Starting a new MMO is one of the most daunting things a video game player can do. Make games like Final Fantasy XIV have massive, sprawling worlds filled with hundreds of hours worth of quests, and more systems than 10 AAA games put together. So shepherding a player through their first 10 hours and reminding them that this game is worth their time is key to a good experience. But nothing incentivizes a player to stick with an MMO than seeing the cool shit you can unlock as you level up. And nothing does that quite as well as Final Fantasy XIV.
Don't think you should swear in journalism.
No, I don't either. I was thinking the exact same thing.
It's Polygon.
It's Polygon.
They can do whatever they want.
Are you saying that it's barely journalism? Is that the point you're making?
I don't think that's right.
It's video game journalism. Sometimes they can do that.
You can say pee pee poo poo in your article about a Doom 74 or whatever.
There's literally articles like, this game has booba. Let's look at the boobas from this game.
No wonder old people don't take us seriously.
That's true. But one day, Georgi, we're gonna be the old people. And we'll be like, I'm reading this video game article. There's not a single booba in it. This is not video game journalism.
They didn't even say milkies.
Are you suggesting that we're going to become more puritanical?
No, we're gonna be.
Where's the kappa?
We're gonna be the new old people. So we want more booba. Well, we want big milkies in the.
How are we meant to know if you're telling a joke or not? If you don't put a kappa at the end.
Right.
We want big milkies.
And then everyone, because everyone grows tired of us talking about booba all the time.
They change to something new.
That's how that works. Young people always do the opposite of what their elders do.
They'll talk about flossing or something.
You ask, So then you are saying that we're going to become more puritanical as a
but
society.
everyone does, but they don't think
it's cyclical. Like,
they do.
So they'll be like, ew, my father keeps talking about the booba. I don't want to see booba. And then everything is boring.
we'll be cringe to the kids.
Let's move on. What a future.
Care not for the amount that this word is being used.
We have filled up our booba
in a podcast.
Oh, God. Whew. We are not a professional podcast, so don't even try to put that on us, chat. Like many, I'm a long-time World of Warcraft player who finally decided to give Final Fantasy XIV an honest shot. I started making the jump to Final Fantasy XIV before the state of California sued... Oh, no.
Why drop that in?
Uh-oh. Sued...
You can't get away from it.
You always, all video game journalists, not just video game journalism, internet journalism in general, always link to other articles on their websites.
That's true.
They get paid.
That's true. Well, I'll read the line. I started making the jump to 14 before the state of California sued Activision Blizzard for sexual harassment and misconduct in the workplace. But the recent legal action certainly hasn't made me eager to dive back into World of Warcraft full time.
Okay.
It was a state? I didn't even realize it was a state either.
A state.
Yeah.
It's really detailed and very in-depth on it. It's a horrible read.
Yes. Even as an MMO veteran, diving into something like Final Fantasy XIV is daunting. I may have the language to understand it and the experience to know what YouTube videos, hobbyist websites, and experienced friends will be... To know that YouTube videos, hobbyist websites, and experienced friends will be my greatest tools, but there's still so much to absorb. Those first
hobbyist websites?
Hobbyist websites.
NovaCrystallis.com/FF14.
Probably sites like Hunt Path or like...
Would you call Nova Crystallis a hobbyist website?
I don't know. Maybe like FFXIV Collect and Garland tools and stuff. Probably
that's such an interesting choice of words. I would have just said websites.
Yes. Yeah. I don't know why I'm like, look, I'm just imagining like stamps, like...
No, I think it's just to distinguish them that these are specific site tools for 14.
Yeah,
model railways.
Yeah, model railways.
Also, you're only thinking about stamps because you feel guilty about not taking grandfather's stamps.
Grandpa.
You should take them.
I'm sorry. Those first 10 to 20 levels are so crucial for every MMO, as it needs to carefully carry players like me, as well as complete newbies, through overwhelming tutorials and single ability combat. It's the easiest time to quit. But Final Fantasy XIV runs you through a variety of capital cities just to show you what you're in for. And the spectacle is enough to keep anyone excited.
True.
Yeah, that's true.
There's not much downtime in the earlier Realm Reborn, so yeah, I guess that's right.
Yeah, they throw you into 3 dungeons in very rapid speed.
Yeah, they do, yeah. You could argue that those dungeons are essentially the same dungeons reskinned because there's nothing happening in them. But yeah, they do give you.
It's exciting the first time you go.
Yeah. Despite not being much of a mount collector or glamour player in MMOs, I still appreciate cool-looking collectibles, and cool stuff is never far from your eye in Final Fantasy XIV. In the capital cities, there are giant crystals and characters dressed to the nines. Some players are max level, wearing shiny sets of armor. Others are still leveling like me, but have silly cosmetics on, like a chocobo helmet, or nothing at all. When I first stepped foot out of my capital city, I got the chance to catch more experienced players hop on a mount and ride away. I enjoyed Sesame Street and Big Bird as a kid, so I'm already down with the cool-looking chocobo.
What?
But when I saw a max-level player drive by in the Regalia, the car from Final Fantasy XV, I got pretty excited. And
that would turn me off. Originally. That would have turned me off 3 years ago, but...
Well, that's not the kind of people... We're not attracting people like you anymore, Boomer.
No, yeah, that's true.
And when I
You're already in this for life.
Generation.
And when I watched that car start flying before my very eyes, I knew I'd be sticking with 14 for quite some time.
It's preparing them for Endwalker Mailer. They'll see many cars then.
That's true. It's also preparing them for the upcoming Final Fantasy 15 crossover event, where they'll get a chance to get that.
That is true.
Yeah.
Make sure you have 200,000 MGP because the Regalia costs that much.
Oh, thank God! So there is.
Yeah, there's not everyone's gonna get it.
Okay.
Well, that's why we've got the Make It Rain campaign right now, Nikhil, so
Yeah.
everyone can get plenty of MGP now.
Make your shmoney.
Final Fantasy XIV offers tons of moments like this when something extremely bizarre catches your eye in just the right way. It's sensory overload, but for the I must have it variety. I'll never get the time-limited regalia for myself, but someday I'll soar over the heads of some new, bright-eyed Final Fantasy XIV players on my equally silly mount, and they'll look at me with the same eagerness I have now, and know they've found a new home. Actually, you can, journalist, because
this author is going to be very excited.
So happy. And that's something that, I mean, I don't know, maybe this is something that some people are fine with, but if I saw something and know I can't get it because it's an old event that I'll never be able to do, that upsets me more than anything.
Well, you're very much I want every unique thing in this game, and I will keep an archive of them.
Yeah.
I don't know if you're the standard of
Well, no. Mela wants to have the thing, and then he is fine with it going away forever as long as he has it.
Oh, yeah, that's okay.
Yes.
So he can show it off and be like, look at what I have and you can never have.
Well, why didn't you ever get into PvP then, Mela?
Yeah, that's the big question.
You're missing out every season. Isn't your FOMO kicking in right now?
No, it sucks too much to try.
Yeah. There you go. Oh yeah, there was a PS at the end that the 15 event does return. So yeah, you can get it.
But this could be the last time.
This could be.
Why did they bring Yokai Watch back twice? I put so much effort in. God, and Lukiel wouldn't have got everything.
Oh, they brought it back the second time because they wanted to add more gear. They wanted to add more weapons.
That's true.
Yeah. That's right. Well, sorry, did they bring it back 3 times then?
2 extra times, I think.
Yeah, 2 extra times, so the 3 in total.
3 in total, I believe.
Yeah. Because I got it on the second, like when the first rerun.
Yeah, but then they brought it out again for the new.
Don't worry, Mela. We'll always know that we got it the first time.
That's
Mela.
true. Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, hey, the funny mounts make people want to play the game more, so that's good, I guess.
Yeah, use your little Sabatender mount.
Yeah.
Drive people crazy. They'll be like, wow.
That is true.
Yeah.
It's not a tiny Sabatender mount. I think little is a bit of a misnomer.
Oh no, that's like one of the tallest mounts we have. Okay.
Do you remember when there was only a Chocobo, the Magitech armor, and an Ariman, and possibly the Curl mount? And that was
yes,
it.
I do remember
and
that.
Goobers,
And
thank you very much.
Oh yeah,
1.0
the 1.0 ones.
Yeah,
but
yeah.
That was
dark times.
I don't know though. It made me want to get keep subscribing for the Ariman.
God, the Ariman was so annoying.
The Ariman's very unpleasant.
It moves like this.
Yeah, it moves too much.
Yeah.
I think we got the Behemoth pretty early as well, because that's only a 90-day reward. Or it was.
That one was fairly early.
Yeah. Well, there you go.
Great times.
That's what Final Fantasy XIV nails. It's essentially letting you see what you can get.
It hooks you.
Yeah.
The opening cities...
Yeah?
You go first, Rollo?
I was saying, you'll be a new player in the city, and then you'll right-click on someone, inspect their gear, see they're wearing near raid gear, I guess, and go insane. That'd be wild if you just started 14, you didn't know about and all of the collaborations, and just like, oh, here's 2B's outfit. There's just 2B right there.
And you can just go into the field, and then you see a Rathalos right next to a Regalia. Yeah. Next to a flying sperm.
And you are exposed to that like immediately, because a lot of MMOs have like starting zones, right? But in 14, you're just there. Like that's the city state. That's where people hang out. So you just see it immediately when you start the game. You're like, okay, well, here they are. There's some sprouts and there's some mentors, level 5s and level 80s just running around, so you can see everything. Which, yeah, I guess is...
They kept them more relevant than any other cities they made. I don't know why, but people like Limsa, Gridania, and Uldar.
Yeah. Well, Limsa, Yeah, Limsa has just become the hub
Because
of
of
choice.
the market board.
Yeah, the proximity to the market board. It's similar to how 1.0 Ulda was the popular one because the market board was right next to the Aetheryte, or right next to, as close to as you can in 1.0. Everything is.
Yeah, none of the new city states up until Old Charlian, seemingly from what we've seen, has the market board close enough to the entry Aetheryte.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, people hung out in Idleshire and stuff, but
but it
you
was
wouldn't
always
hang out in
annoying.
Ishgard.
Yeah.
And no one's in Ralgas or Kugani, really.
I feel like you do see people hanging out around the Crystarium, though. Like, that at max level. Like, it's not really relevant.
I find that I was there the
loads.
other day, and it was empty as fuck.
Really? I usually see crafters just doing some of they're either doing the leaves or they're doing
the crystalline mean is there, and also people are going to still be doing leaves because of how much money you can make from making cookies.
Yeah.
That's true.
Kugane is a good point. Kugane has always had this like weird thing where it's actually kind of active. At least on Ragnarok. I don't know if that's everywhere, but
particularly around the market area, but not much everywhere else.
It does have things such as the Eureka entrance and things like that.
That's true.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. And the reason why Idleshire was so popular was because there was a lot of other stuff there. Like that's where you went for relics. That's where you went for God, what was in Idleshire? There was a lot. I remember you
would do Zloe's stuff.
Oh yeah,
and Chloe's
and Chloe,
and it had all the crafting stuff in there, so it had everything in one place.
Yeah. Idleshire is.
Idleshire was always a little bit more special than the others.
Yeah.
They haven't been able to recreate Idleshire.
No. Okay.
I mean, it doesn't help that you can't even have mounts up.
No.
How am I supposed to show up?
True.
That's true.
True. Okay. Moving on to Eurogamer, asking the important question: what's behind Final Fantasy XIV's surge in popularity? As an avid fan of Final Fantasy XIV, I regularly log in on the evenings and weekends to play the game, but recently I noticed a trend while logging in: queues. It's not too unusual to have a short wait that almost immediately resolves, but this time the line sat at over 300 players. It took 10 minutes to simply get into the game, and all I wanted to do was mull around in the Bosnian Southern Front to grind away for an extremely shiny weapon. Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is coming up to 8 years old. So why are more players than ever logging in to play the smash hit MMORPG now? Let's take a look at some of the stats. Final Fantasy XIV keeps breaking its Steam concurrent player records. At the time of writing, it just broke another concurrent record of over 67,019 players.
There's 50-something last week.
Yeah. But that's just a peek behind the curtain for Final Fantasy XIV's current player count. Many people still play the game on PlayStation 4, PlayStation 5, and another native PC launcher, which is much harder to track with public information. And I can assure you that the numbers are going to be much higher on the native PC launcher, possibly even PS4 and 5 as well.
Yeah, I would say it's much closer to 200,000 than just that number.
Yeah.
PS4 and 5, especially for Japanese players.
Yeah.
I think the majority of them are probably on console.
Yeah. However, what is unusual is for the developers to issue a statement about the explosion of growth and an apology from the game's director Naoki Yoshida on the recent phenomenon. He detailed immediate actions for Final Fantasy XIV to be able to handle this unprecedented surge in popularity over on the game's official blog. I've never heard the Lodestone be referred to as the official blog, but okay.
I mean,
the dev blog.
That's true.
It is true, I guess, technically, but I wouldn't say official website, but all right, yeah, it's a blog.
Yeah, official website is probably another way of referring to it.
Yeah.
Because because the lay person wouldn't understand what the Lodestone is.
Right.
It's powered by Blogspot, so...
Yeah. Action has been taken to call queue times immediately, and a server upgrade originally intended for use at the release of the latest expansion, Final Fantasy XIV Endwalker, has already begun to roll out. But why is this all happening? Upon the release of patch 5.3 for Final Fantasy XIV last year, the game extended its free trial period to include the award-winning Heavensward expansion,
Shut up.
where players are now able to play the game up to level 60 This includes access to all classes included in A Realm Reborn and Heavensward, and the wealth of content sat outside of the main story quest that you're able to experience too. See what we've done? See how this has completely ruined everything? Like, we did this. We all did this. This
was one of the best marketing campaigns that Square Enix has ever made, and I don't think it was intentional.
No. Over the last year or so, this has become a bit of a meme for die-hard advocates to convince their friends to play the game, and it's working. Why? Because Final Fantasy XIV is not just about running hardcore raids with your friends. There's a wealth of side content to complete outside of combat too. Things such as crafting or gathering to create your own gear, or making food to provide you with buffs, are all activities that take time away from the main dramatic story quests, but also create a stronger sense of culture within the game. For example, some players are intent on simply playing crafters, focused on creating the strongest gear to equip them and their friends with. This takes a significant amount of time to prepare the necessary materials, but there's still legitimate ways to enjoy the game. Outside of that, the developers...
Dedicated crafters?
What?
Do you know any dedicated crafters?
I know some very rich people who seem to craft all the time, but they also keep up to date on all the hardcore content too.
Yeah, I know. Yeah. We have one in our FC. I'm not going to call them out, but you know who.
Oh, yes, I know who you're talking about.
Yeah.
Well, I knew someone too like that. When Stormblood and Walker came out, or no, sorry, Shadowbringers, they didn't even play. They didn't do this MSQ. They just out of craft.
Yeah, that's. I mean, it's a game of its own. So
yeah, and they're like 2 weeks later, okay, now I can play.
Yeah.
All right.
Yeah. Some do dungeons and some just do the market board game, which, hey, that's fun too. When you can... I used to be very into crafting. I remember I used to have like a limit of having 10 million gil. That was the lowest I would ever dip. I haven't been... I have been like at like 2 million gil flat for like the last 4 years. I just can't do it anymore. Okay. Usually, because what I do is I buy the materials. I cannot be bothered to go out and even though I have all of my gatherers at max, like capped stats, I can get all the materials, but it's just doing it. And then I just buy it off the market. You know me. I just buy it off the market board, and then I'm like, oh, I'm making the thing. I'm selling it. This is profit. No, it's not, you fool. You overpaid for the materials, and you didn't earn anything. You did that at a loss. That's
why I never became like a massively into crafting, because I'm too cheap to buy things on the market board, and I'm too lazy to obtain things in the field.
There you go.
Even if you do the opposite, I got to 80 on everything, gathered all the white scripts through doing custom deliveries, and then found macros to do the green gear, whatever the highest green gear was at the time, aesthetes or whatever, I can't remember. Crafted it all. Materialed it all with super good materia, and now I've pretty much not crafted since.
Yeah.
Ready to do it all again next expansion.
Yep.
God.
Yep.
You have to keep on top of crafting.
Yes, you do. Outside of that, the developers of Final Fantasy XIV have also taken steps to streamline A Realm Reborn, cutting out significant amounts of main scenario quest, which mainly served as padding beforehand, giving newer players a more cohesive and well-paced experience in their first foray into the world of Eorzea. This all builds up to the fantastic Heavensward expansion, and all content associated with it, which houses some of the best storytelling that Final Fantasy XIV has to offer. This potent mix within the free trial of allowing players to experience the highs of the game in Heavensward and speeding things along in the now rickety and aged A Realm Reborn means that they're getting to the better parts of the game quicker than ever. In addition to this, are the raid content and alternative classes within the game. Unlike World of Warcraft, you don't have to start an alternate character if you wish to play another class, and the game encourages this by giving you boosted EXP when leveling an alternate class too. Over the last year, we've seen some accounts max out a free trial, getting every possible class to level 60, and kitting them out with the best possible gear and items. With no obligation or subscription attached, these players can experience some of the best Final Fantasy XIV has to offer, and play it for potentially thousands of hours without running out of things to do in-game.
That's true. Especially if they get into fishing.
Yeah.
Yeah, up through Heavenswood. That's a lot of content.
Yeah, there's all the relics, Realm Reborn relics and Heavenswood relics if they wanted them.
Yeah. There are some restrictions do apply though. Like you can't reply to tells, which is something I've learned.
There's a guild cap.
There's a guild cap.
You also can't join queues, which we learned last week.
You can't join queues?
If the game is service full, you can't join the queues.
Yeah. You can.
Yeah. No FCs.
No FCs.
I don't think you can use the market board.
You can't form parties.
It's probably a guild cap too.
There is
lonely experience.
Yeah. So there you go. That's the reason I believe they did that was because of the bots, right?
Yeah.
There was a lot of. Obviously, when you make a free trial like that, bots are gonna love that. Okay, right. Now approaching 8 years old, Final Fantasy XIV: A Realm Reborn is a fountain of content. Of particular note are the guest writers, who add to the world of Eorzea through their own unique lenses. These are lovingly crafted, with appearances from some bona fide JRPG rock stars in the form of Yasumi Matsuno written Return to Evilise. Sorry, I don't know why. I was going to call him Woolhead, but then they gave him both names, and I freaked out. In the form of the Woolhead written Return to Evilise raid series in Stormblood, in addition to the Save the Queen Blades of Gunhildr storyline in Shadowbringers. Most recently, the team also collaborated with Drakengard and Nier director Yoko Taro for the Yorha Dark Apocalypse raid series, which adds to the official Nier canon too.
Not apparently. We have no real answer to that.
There was
still being propagated.
Every time we say it, someone's going to be like, "No, it's not actually." So let's not. They said it. That's not our quote. Leave us alone. This is all in addition to the main storyline, which has only gone from strength to strength with every expansion. But there are other things for players to immerse themselves into, too. Of note are the ultimate raids, for those looking for a challenge. These can take up to 100 hours for players to progress through with a team and offer the hardest challenges in Final Fantasy XIV. So those who want to play more difficult content are never at a loss for things to do either.
Until they've done all the ultimates.
Let's do ultimate.
We will.
Okay.
Don't worry.
All right.
You didn't want to finish doing
it's because it was
AlphaScape 12.
Because this is a different. I don't know why you're bringing that up. That was a different situation. we were not there to prog a raid.
We're just bad, okay?
Yeah,
like
we are.
We're not bad.
We're not bad. I'm with Mailer on this.
Okay.
We're quite good players.
Outside of combat and story, there are also things that, such as hand or land classes, as previously mentioned, in addition to player housing. Some people in the game open up their houses to be used as places of gathering or clubs for all players to head into. There's a wealth of things to do, and that list is only ever getting progressively built upon with the release of each new expansion. As a player who has spent 2 years in the game, I still have not touched huge instances like Eureka, where you can get special gear and mounts, or the deep dungeon Heaven on High. It can be overwhelming at first, but once you get a sense for the game and what you get the most out of, you can easily lose weeks just to chopping down trees if you're so inclined.
That's true.
You can.
I probably lost a few hours. No, I don't know. Ages really
weeks, for the. But weeks.
No,
chopping down trees.
I don't know about that.
I feel like that's a bit of an overstatement.
Yeah.
I understand what they're saying, but one person spending weeks leveling botanists.
Yeah.
But remember, like, you could be waiting for an ethereal or ephemeral node.
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Fuck those nodes.
Legendary nodes.
Okay.
You could be using a matron's favor. Yeah, that's right. Who's used them? don't think they even exist anymore.
No. I don't think they do they?
They might still be purchasable. I don't know if they actually function. I don't know.
I'm not sure.
I don't remember.
I haven't
Anyone
seen one
used
for
any of them?
years.
Yeah.
Any favor?
There's been a lot of streamlining of those classes, so I don't know, maybe that feels like something that should be chopped. No pun intended. If we take a look at the past year for Final Fantasy XIV on Twitch, we've seen a significant jump in early July, thanks to streamers such as Asmongold, Rich Campbell, Co-Carnage, and more shifting their focus over from World of Warcraft and beginning their journey into the world of Eorzea. This was met with some trepidation by the Final Fantasy XIV community, with many fearing that the influence of some of these streamers may bring forth a more toxic culture within Final Fantasy XIV. The impact of this is still to be seen. There is a hair on my...
Ooh, free snack.
It keeps tickling my nose. The impact of this is still yet to be seen in Final Fantasy XIV itself, outside of small incidents such as a streamer boosting their character's level, then diving into a difficult raid without any understanding of how to actually play the game. However, the large streamers like Asmongold and Rich Campbell are taking their time to go through the game organically and seemingly enjoying the experience along the way.
I would argue it's slightly unorganic with Asmon, but even more good in like he's doing extreme content and all the coils and everything.
Yeah.
I mean, he hasn't done any extreme because you need to be at least level 70, don't you?
He's done extremes.
He's done extremes.
Oh, sorry, extremes. For some reason, I thought you said ultimate.
Oh, no.
But that's his main goal.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Many of these streamers felt disappointed by the latest patch for World of Warcraft Shadowlands, which is what triggered Asmongold, by far the most popular World of Warcraft streamer, to try out the game after having repeatedly dismissed it in the past. Regardless, the game has erupted in popularity on Twitch. According to Solinome, a website that is often used for, Solinome.
I've never used it, but okay. So
a website that is often used for tracking metrics over on the streaming service. Final Fantasy XIV's average viewership has jumped by 377%, with over 435% of max viewers, and an upsurge of 33% in the number of broadcasters playing the game itself when judged against the previous 30 days. This correlates well to the queue times many players experience during this time frame, meaning that the influence of these streamers cannot be understated when looking at this most recent surge of popularity. Indeed, this has spawned plenty of memes, in particular one of Rich Campbell uninstalling World of Warcraft live on stream while a Lalafell player character dances in the background. Now dubbed the Uninstallafell, this wave of World of Warcraft expats has led the charge for introducing a new audience of potential players to Square Enix's hit MMORPG. Yeah, it's... We've talked about this so many times already. I mean, it's happened. Watch last week's episode. You'll hear us talk about this.
Just know that we were here first, okay? we were in the trenches.
We were here when no one cared. That we were here, no one cared, and we were here.
We were in Eureka.
Yeah.
Luke Keel was here when people really didn't care.
True.
That's true.
Okay.
I'm in Eureka now. I don't like it.
It sucks.
I always liked Eureka. Eureka was
I
alright.
liked Animos.
Animos was alright. Pagos was bad.
Pagos ruined everything for me.
It's all bad.
And the last one, Hydatos.
Hydatos.
Okay. Due to the disastrous launch of the original Final Fantasy XIV, the team behind A Realm Reborn has always been extremely open and honest with fans about the state of the game, its development, and more. In the most recent FanFest, we saw composer Masayoshi Soken reveal his battle against cancer over the course of the pandemic, with director Naoki Yoshida in tears. Most recently, the team's response to queue times due to the recent popularity of the game was detailed swiftly and comprehensively, followed by an apology that some players might not be able to idly dance around in cities or go AFK as often. This kind of open culture breeds a loyal community and fan base. With Endwalker's release just around the corner, we've seen all of the factors combine for a 160% increase in pre-orders in comparison to the last expansion, with plans for more investments in servers and data centers to manage the rapidly expanding population of Final Fantasy XIV players. Final Fantasy XIV's history just got a little bit weirder, but the rapidly expanding player base of over 22 million registered players is just another strong point for Square Enix, who have now firmly steered the game out of disaster and into a series of well-regarded expansions, and now stands as one of the most popular MMORPGs today.
They should steer it back into disaster.
Yeah.
Or like, you know,
Time
make it
is
entertaining.
cyclical.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Make it bad again, and then we'll be there still, of course.
How can we ever improve if we don't go downhill first?
True. Yeah, there you go. Sound logic to me. So that's that.
I really liked that. That article was clearly from someone who actually plays the game, so I liked that.
Yes, that's refreshing. Because we've all.
I mean, the first article was from one that just started playing the game.
True.
That is true.
We'll probably get more of these articles now that from people that actually play the game than people that have read a summary about the game.
Yeah, I prefer this.
Yeah. I don't know what else there is to say about this. I feel like it's all been said.
I think the point about how open the dev team is with the community is definitely very true, because I don't think 14 would be anywhere near it was today if it didn't have like live letters and events.
Yeah,
True.
like
No, that's true.
FanFest is a very uniquely 14 thing, and at least how it works. At least like there's always BlizzCon. BlizzCon is not the same as
BlizzCon is not specifically about
that's a Blizzard
one game.
It's their company. It celebrates their company, whereas this is celebrating just the game.
That's where they announce mobile games. So
right, yeah.
But yeah, I don't know.
You know that hasn't released yet.
Really?
Still?
Yeah.
No.
Do we have the beta?
But
Wow.
the celebration of a company seems more, I don't know, dystopic
Yeah.
than the
it's a very
celebration of a single game.
I mean, I get it that they've got lots of good games, so they branch them all together or whatever, but 14 specifically is I mean, FanFest is just...
It's fun.
I don't know. They managed to make it cover a similar period of time as BlizzCon, but just about 14.
Isn't it weird? The more you think about it, the weirder it is. World of Warcraft used to be a lot bigger than 14, right? So why did they not have that? That is...
because they had to cover things about
so
Diablo
they could
and
push their mobile
StarCraft.
games. Yeah.
And Overwatch.
And
Heroes of the Storm, and then the mobile games.
You have phones, right? You guys have phones.
I thought I thought you said
watched
you
that
have
live.
bones, right? And I'm like, that's a weird quote. I never heard that before.
You know what? Fuck you for assuming that, Georgi.
Yeah. I have no bones.
I'm just a bag of flesh and organs.
I'm soft cartilage like a shark.
I
Like my squish.
I think sharks have bones, Rollo.
No,
I've seen skeletons.
Yeah,
cartilage, right?
I have seen.
What the fuck is the skeleton of a shark?
Yeah, what is shark skeleton?
What is your point? What are you trying to say?
All right, okay. We cannot talk.
They're not jellyfish.
I'm back onto the tracks. That is the news for this week. I think it is time we go into some MogMail because that is something we have. So let's jump into MogMail. This is from Smorkle. Did we read this last week? No, Smorkle from Mateus.
No.
With the long-running Zodiac Heidelin story, thank you, coming to a close in Endwalker, do you think it is possible we'll get an ending cinematic similar to the Flames of Truth cinematic from Coil? It's probably not that likely, but if they were ever going to give us another non-trailer cinematic, I think this would be the perfect place to do it.
Very good point.
That is
the problem is any ending is highly likely to very strongly feature our character.
That is a fair point. Unless there's an agreed upon, when they reveal that we're Oshan.
Yeah.
An agreed upon look for Oshan.
That is a way
That's
for them
possible.
to go to fix that, yeah. If we get to see our ancient self or whatever, that unsundered version of us, if that's different from our character, that's how they could get away with it. But also, we could get a cinematic. So the one cinematic we have from in-game that is not an intro cinematic or like a trailer cinematic is the Flames of Truth cinematic, and it's focusing on something else, which does not include our character. So it depends on how everything ends. Maybe like an epic like Heidelin. No, we have to speculate because we actually don't know where this is going. But let's say Heidelin Zodiac like fighting or something. That would be a cinematic.
God, can you imagine that?
And then Eorzea getting like fucking wrecked. Like that would be cool. But or maybe a cinematic about how the world was sundered. That could also work.
Also,
yeah.
I think it's more likely if they were to wreck a continent, it will be Ilsebard, and that is why they're refusing to show us it.
Oh,
because at the end it will be nothing.
True. Oh.
That could be true.
They showed us it already.
That's clouded still.
On a map.
No, not the map.
Oh, on a map. Oh, okay, on a map. Okay.
Yeah. So like the game sort of ends with Ilsebard just being fucking annihilated.
That would be cool.
That would be cool as well.
I hope we get a cinematic of Hylian versus Zodiac, but it's just them in crystal form, and they just like clatter against each other.
Yeah.
Until one of them smashes.
Why would they have had that Amano artwork made if they were just going to have them bang against each other?
That would be so funny, though. We were like, we have all these ideas about what they look like. No, they literally are just those crystals.
I like
just a purple and a blue crystal. Bonk.
Yeah, because it feels like you're a child, and then you've got like one toy in one hand and the other in the other, and then you just smash them together.
Do the Heidelin kick, just like spin it. Just like...
They're just plumb bobs.
Yeah, that's what they are.
They'll zoom out, and we're just in The Sims.
Sol.
That'd be the biggest twist.
Yeah, yeah. I think that it would make sense to have a cinematic to just close off the story. I hope they do that.
Yeah, it would be super unique.
I think it's possible that they do that because it is the end. Like they do, they go the extra mile just for because it's the end. I mean, they went the extra mile for Coil.
I think they expected they would do it a lot after that, and maybe found out that it was really difficult.
The problem was that they, because of how the workflow is, like it takes visual work. It's not Visual Works anymore, is it? Whatever it's called now. The whatever the new Visual Works, they merged Visual Works in another department. Yeah. It would take them like half a year or something to finish the cutscene. So, is it Crystal Dynamics now? It takes too long to do that for every patch, so that's why they don't do it anymore. But
and
for this, they could have planned this way ahead.
I also worry that even they may have planned fun, and it might not have gone ahead just because of the pandemic.
That's true.
Sadly,
that's also possible.
But also, we have to remember that when they talked about the cutscene in A Realm Reborn and how difficult it was to work with Visual Works, that was 7 years ago. So things might have sped up a little since then. Like, technology evolves very rapidly. Who knows? I still think it's possible, but the pandemic might have made that more. They did delay the game though.
Yeah,
we're getting it a lot later. So
imagine if they delayed the game like everything was ready, and the only reason they were delaying it is so they could give us a CGI end cutscene.
I would be fine.
I'd be okay with that.
Yeah.
The render farm, it still has to go.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you, Smirkles. We are all hoping. Next is from a rare beast from Balmung. Wow. This is a lot, I think. No, it did fit. Okay. My dearest speakers of Heidlin, it's been some time since I've written. There are many mails of Mog in need of attention, and I figure I've had my time in the sun. However, discussing how to fix Leave Quest brought about another set of troubles of mine, and I just had to write. What in the world do we do with guild hests and new adventurer training to make them teach useful skills in which the community can be sorely lacking? As a career tank, the launch of Shadowbringers and the rise of Gunbreaker brought about so many tanks at max level who never shook their very bad habits. Many bosses turned sideways or backs unavailable. Zero knowledge of how to deal with a tank buster. It's lessened as the DPS faithful return to their preferred classes, but I'd like to see new adventure training to be retrofitted to teach better skills, such as turning enemies away from your party, rotating cooldowns, turning your ding-dang tank stance off when you're off tank, etc., etc. Furthermore, the guild hests teach a lot of mechanics that never come up again, and fail to teach mechanics such as stacking and other important bits, and I'd like to see that expanded or changed. What skills, tells, behaviors would you like to see emphasized in training content for new players? And, if you can think of something, how would you realize it in the form of content? No need to plan out every intricate detail. Just a basic starter idea is always fun to hear. Much love from the much overpopulated server. A rare beast.
They should definitely do new tutorial stuff for more advanced mechanics.
They should have a... I've said for a long time that they should have had... This is what guild hests should have always been. They should have taught us, like, mechanics that are actually relevant rather than, like, pulling one group at a time, because that's not relevant in the current game.
Mm-hmm.
Honestly, I would just axe guild hests, because I don't think they're a good environment to learn in, mostly because there's a roulette, so some people are just doing it for XP, and they're like, you know, just do it. Here, do this, that, and this. You know, they just throw shit at you, and then, you know, you just do it, whatever. Yeah, and then you can just ignore all the help text. So axe it, get rid of it.
Make them solo, maybe.
Yeah, you know what? Yeah, if you want to bring it into the Hall of the Novice, maybe bring a few choice ones in there, and just really emphasize some of that stuff. I think they do talk about positioning in Hall of the Novice. It's like a little floating text that says, might want to turn them away from the party or something like that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I think you could retrofit it like that, and then also build upon that with like common design language stuff in 14, you know, like in general, orange AoE bad, that kind of thing, or like bread also bad, you know, or like or what is it? Explaining like dice time bomb mechanics, kind of thing.
Yeah. You want them to explain acceleration bombs? They're not that common to justify it.
I mean, this game has a lot of markers.
Yeah.
I definitely think they should explain markers. Like, they should have, like, what they would have. Either in
they should like, teach the they should teach the difference between stack and spread, or like move out.
Yes.
So because they're easy to confuse.
Either as a whole of the intermediate, or if they were to ever revamp guild hests, there should be one that just like it's a boss that like just uses like cycles through the most common like AoE markers.
Yeah. The look away marker. That's also a classic. Or the very advanced one that we got was introduced, I think, in the Void Arc, like the Duns. What's it called?
I think it was in Dunscace.
Where it's stack and look away.
Yeah, that one's
complicated.
That one actually is a bit complicated.
I mean, I like. See, that's another one there. I feel like it's so rare that I don't think it's worth explaining.
Yeah. I think there's a reason why it's so rare. I think it's an annoying mechanic.
It's an awkward thing to have to deal with.
Yes, it is.
I agree with chat though when Melee's saying teaching them all at once would kind of suck.
Yes,
I don't think you should. It does take some of the surprise away from it. It doesn't need to be everything.
That's why I think you should have more basic stuff like stack and spread. Like those are easy, right? Stack, spread, those are simple, and then
you'll see those in almost every encounter.
And then you'll see remixes of those, but you know the base idea, right? So you see the stack and look away. You're like, oh, I know to stack, but what the fuck is that? Petrified. It didn't turn away.
I
would say like petrify is common enough that I would have that in this test one as well.
Yeah.
I think too. One thing I think that would be really good is either one, do explain some mechanics that are like tutorialize them whatever in however fashion you want to in the Hall of the Novice, for debuffs or buffs or whatever mechanics that don't have very clear visual explanations. Like Pyretic was one for sure.
Yeah.
Any kind of freeze mechanic.
Yeah, I was thinking freeze as well.
If it tells you to move, because like I mean you understand that you're being frozen at least, which is better than Pyretic, where you just seem to just kind of die if you're not looking at your debuff bar and reading what it does in the middle of a new raid that's coming out.
Yeah.
Or two.
Actually. No, you go first. Sorry.
Or two, I would just say maybe overhaul some mechanics a little bit just to make them visually more indicative of what's happening. Like for Pyretic, you could maybe have it like you're stunned and you get like I don't know, some flame icon, something like that. Just so you know, you press the button, something bad happened. You're not doing something right.
Right.
I actually think Warrior of Light is the first phase of Warrior of Light is pretty good for teaching a lot of these mechanics.
Oh, it is.
Yeah.
That one had almost everything.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah, because in Warrior of Light, I think is one of the only fights where Pyretic and Freeze are like there's an indicator for them beforehand.
True. Yeah.
And then you start having to stack all the different variations of it. Like
There's
stack
both
but move.
stack and spread in that fight.
Yeah.
That's definitely a good boss fight when it comes to remixes. Or building upon the same mechanics.
So all you have to do is get to max level, go through all the storyline, and get to Warrior of Light
to 5.3.
Yeah. Okay, well, there you go. Thank you, Beast. Solved that one.
We did it.
Right.
That's free too, I guess.
Yeah. That's free for now. Contact at speakersxiv.com, Yoshi-P. Just you need to ask for permission for these.
Yeah.
At speakersxiv.com.
Isn't that our?
Yeah,
that's our email. That's our That's our
business email.
Speakersxiv.com is our website.
What's off? I'll contact that speaker for some.
It is.
For some reason, I thought it was a sentence.
Okay.
I think that's what threw me off.
Contact at speakersxiv.com. That is the speaker's email.
Because I thought you were saying contact us.
Oh, right.
As in, this is where you should contact us.
Right. Contact us at contact@speakersxiv.com. There you go.
Yoshi-P.
There you go.
All right, that's the show for tonight. Remember to stay tuned for the post-show. If you're watching live, we'll be looking back at the minimum island level run and answering questions from the syndicate.
Drawing today?
No.
Okay.
Yeah, wait. Why wouldn't we draw today?
Because we're not. Are we doing minimum eye level tomorrow? I thought we said we're skipping.
Can we skip 1 week?
I thought we said we could, but okay, we can skip tomorrow.
We have to decide this beforehand before we bring this up.
Okay.
Yes.
This is news to me. I don't know.
We are not drawing.
Yeah, that's why it's news to me as well.
Wait, what? What is news to you?
That we're skipping.
What?
I know we've never told Rollo.
Yeah, you never told me.
Oh, we never told Rollo. Oh, Rollo, we're not.
We're doing it 1 week on and then off.
Yeah, we're doing it every other. We're slowly.
Because then we don't get overwhelmed.
Okay.
Yeah.
That makes sense.
Okay.
And also, so Lakil has more time to edit.
Yes.
Yeah, so we actually get them all on YouTube rather than getting a huge backlog.
Yeah. We'll be watching the first video today. All right. Thanks for watching. Well, remember to follow on Twitter at SpeakersXIV, twitch.tv/SpeakersOfIreland, youtube.com/SpeakersXIV, Discord in chat if you want to join our Discord server, if you're watching on demand. Links in the description. Send us MogMail, speakersxiv.com/MogMail. Remember, stay tuned for the post show. Goodbye.
Goodbye.